In the remote mountains of Appalachia, West Virginia, a legend persisted for generations. Every November, locals whispered a town would appear in the mist, streets, houses, lights glowing faintly, only for a night. By sunrise, it vanished. It had a name, once recorded in old maps, Grayhaven, but all modern maps erased it. GPS signals refused to show anything. No one knew who built it, no records, no census, only stories. I am Sam, investigative journalist, 42. I'd always dismissed the tale as folklore until the letters arrived. Letters, handwritten, unsigned, sent to my mailbox over 2 months. Each one dated November 2nd of previous years, each describing streets, a diner, the church, the town square, in intimate detail. Don't wait for sunrise. Grayhaven remembers who watches. Curiosity consumed me. November 5th, 2025, I drove north, along forgotten mountain paths. Fog rolled in before sunset. Leaves rustled with no wind. My GPS struggled to find the road. By 6:47 p.m., I saw it, the first street light, orange glow, flickering, then houses, porches with rocking chairs swaying, though the wind was still. Windows glowed like candlelight. The air smelled faintly of smoke and autumn apples. I parked my SUV, camera rolling, no other cars, no people, yet a feeling of being observed. The streets were narrow, cobbled, perfectly clean, yet moss was creeping over the edges. I walked to the town square. The fountain there gurgled with water that smelled like old rain, and on the steps shadows moved. Silhouettes of men, women, children, dressed like they were from the 1940s. They didn't approach, didn't speak, just watched. I entered the diner. Inside, chairs were set, coffee cups full, plates of food cold but steaming slightly. A jukebox played, soft, scratchy, jazz music from decades ago. Every item seemed frozen in time, yet alive. By 8:15 p.m., the fog grew heavier, rolling in from the edges of town. I heard whispers, indistinct voices, murmuring. I felt a hand on my shoulder, but when I turned, no one was there. The town had rules, I realized. I could observe, I could film, I could take photos, but I could not touch anything or speak aloud. The first hour passed like a dream. Then the clock in the diner struck midnight. Something changed. Lights flickered violently. The shadows moved closer, not threatening, but curious, inspecting me. A man appeared in the square, tall, gray-suited, no face, just a smooth, featureless surface. He raised a hand slowly. A breeze passed, cold, unnatural, and I heard it. Not all who enter leave. Grayhaven chooses its visitors carefully. By 12:30 a.m., I realized I could not leave via the roads I entered. Every street curved back on itself. Every alley led to the same town square, and then, just as suddenly as I arrived, the fog swallowed the streets. The fog thickened, curling around the buildings like ghostly fingers. I could barely see more than 20 feet ahead, but the streetlights gave just enough glow to make out storefronts and houses that looked frozen in time. I walked cautiously toward the church at the far end of the square. Its steeple seemed taller than I remembered in the letters. The doors were slightly ajar, creaking softly as if in welcoming me inside. Inside, the air smelled of polished wood and old hymnals. Pews perfectly aligned, dust-free. No one sat, no one sang, but a piano in the corner started playing on its own, a slow, haunting melody that sent chills down my spine. I tried to move, to reach the piano, but my feet felt heavy, like walking through molasses. The shadows in the corners of the room were growing thicker, twisting, almost alive. I glanced outside through a tinted glass window. Figures walked silently through the streets, faces blank, yet their eyes seemed to follow me everywhere I moved. I realized something terrifying. This town was not just appearing, it was alive in a way beyond understanding. It sensed me, observed me, tested me. As I stepped outside again, the diner's jukebox flicked through songs by itself. Plates rattled, cups clinked. I saw a child, no more than 7, walking backwards, eyes fixed on me, slowly vanishing as I blinked. My camera was rolling and I could hear it capturing sounds no human could make. Whispers in a forgotten language, footsteps that didn't match anyone, doors opening and closing without wind. Then I noticed the old clock tower. It had been static in all previous letters, frozen at 11:11 p.m. But now the hands were moving, clockwise, then counterclockwise, faster and faster. Time itself seemed fractured here. Suddenly the wind picked up, carrying the faint scent of smoke and wood, and a woman's voice, called from behind me. Some who visit never leave. I spun around, empty streets, only the fog, only the shadows. I ran toward the outskirts of town, hoping to find the road I came from. Every attempt led me back to the square. It was as if the town itself reshaped to keep me inside. By 10:30 p.m. I found a narrow alley I hadn't noticed before. The walls were lined with old photographs, families, couples, children, all labeled 1921, 1947, 1963, years spanning a century. Each image had blank spaces where faces should be. I realized with horror that these were the people who had visited Grayhaven and never returned. They existed only in fragments, frozen between memory and reality. The fog thickened further, almost swallowing the square. Then a faint bell rang, not from the church, not from anywhere I could see, but echoing through the entire town. I froze. Somewhere deep inside, I understood. Grayhaven would not let me leave without paying attention, without acknowledging its rules. By 11:15 p.m., the fog became almost solid. I could barely see my own hands. The town square was now a maze of twisted streets, each leading back to the central fountain. I realized there was only one way to understand Grayhaven. The town wanted me to witness its story, its history, its secrets. I approached the fountain. Water shimmered unnaturally, shadows swirled within it, forming faces of the missing people, men, women, children, trapped between the fog and reality. I felt a pull, almost magnetic. The fountain was not water, it was a portal, a threshold. A figure emerged from the fog. The gray-suited man, faceless, he extended his hand slowly. Then the whispers became voices, clear and distinct. Those who respect Grayhaven may leave. Those who ignore are remembered forever. I understood immediately. This was a test, a judgment. I stepped forward cautiously, touching the edge of the fountain. A cold shock ran up my arm. The faces in the water reached out toward me, but they didn't harm me. They asked to be remembered. Suddenly, the fog pulled back slightly. A narrow path appeared, glowing faintly. I ran. Every step felt like running through syrup, but finally I reached the edge of the town. The forest I had entered hours ago. I paused, one last glance at Grayhaven. The streets shimmered, then vanished completely. Just mountains and mist remained, no trace. My cameras had captured everything: the frozen diner, the spectral figures, the clock tower, the photographs. Yet when I later reviewed the footage, some things weren't there. Faces had disappeared, shadows vanished, time seemed to loop in places where I remembered walking. I left Grayhaven changed. My notes, my footage, my memory all tested the line between reality and legend. Weeks later, locals told me the town would appear again next November, and now I understood its purpose. Grayhaven exists to remind us of those who vanish unseen, those who are lost between worlds and the fragile boundary of our perception. The next morning, I published my story, fully documented. Yet, as I sit here tonight, preparing for the next November, I know some towns choose their visitors, and not all are allowed to leave. Grayhaven was not a place you stumbled upon. It chose to be found, and once chosen, it left a mark on your mind that never fades.